What's good, everybody? Welcome to K&J Studios. It's your boy Jay.
It's your girl Kaya.
And today we have an live action Avatar update.
Netflix, you suck. Okay. So today we have you guys, it just keeps getting worse and worse the more information we find out about this new Netflix live action. It is literally like, you guys, it's crazy. It's gonna have I feel like it's gonna have a lot of Avatar fans really pissed off, because when you look at it, it has nothing to do with Avatar. Like, it's literally not Avatar at all. So we're gonna go into some of the new updates, as far as like what the character descriptions are, what exactly the show is supposed to be. I guess like they didn't really give like a description of like what the plot of the show is quite yet, but we do have a little bit on like what to expect, I guess, from the show. So we're gonna get right into it. Okay, so the release date, not the release date, but the date of filming was confirmed. So they start filming mid-November. So I think the date is actually November 16th.
Shame on all of the actors that decided to participate.
Oh,
shame on
real.
you.
Yeah.
Shame
honestly.
on you. You are clearly not a real fan.
Honestly, not at all. And let's see what else. So it starts November 16th and it ends filming on May 17th, 2022. So I guess we can kind of, within the next year or two, we'll start to get more information on it. Where will it be filmed at? So it's supposed to be filmed in Vancouver under the working title Trade Winds. So that's what we know so far. All right, so
they need to film out of this country because ain't nobody in this country gonna accept it.
No, seriously, I think a lot of Canada. I haven't seen like a lot of fans really talk about it as much
because nobody cares. It's not real Avatar.
Because like we have Avatar Studios now, so I think that's something that kind of like cushions a little bit. We also did some other videos as well as to other changes that they have made so far, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we're just gonna get right into some changes. So some of the changes that we'll see is definitely changes with Aang, okay? So that's one of the main ones. We're going to go into what exactly changes with Aang in a little bit, but that's going to be something that I feel like a lot of people, mainly a lot of people, are going to be really upset about. Also, the second thing is the nature of bending. Like, the nature of the bending will be different than what we are used to seeing from the like the series and everything. It's supposed to be more of like a mystical force, which is very weird. I'm like, what is this? What is this wizardry? I don't know what that even means.
It's basically they turning everybody into Jedi Knights.
That's exactly like what is this Star Wars? It's like the weirdest thing. I don't understand. It's basically like a Disney movie or whatever. You know, like they have the Disney movies or something. I don't know
what
the
mystical power.
I'm like, what does that even mean? I don't get it, guys. But anyways, let's get into the meat. We're just gonna get right to the meat, guys. Okay, so we're gonna first start off with the description of Aang.
Don't call it the meat.
It is the meat. Everybody know the meat.
Why can't you just say nitty gritty?
That's the same thing, though.
Nitty gritty is like, let's get into the meat. Like what?
Like you should feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna get right into the meat. You can read it because you guys, I'm bad at reading out loud, so I'm gonna have him read it.
As an example, the character description for Aang states that he was adopted at birth. Aang has struggled with questions as to how he fits in, but his loving parents have worked hard to make him feel accepted. Aang has grown up to become generous, kind-hearted, and cheerful. Aang had been gifted with an incredible mystical power. He doesn't really understand it, but it could be the key to saving the world from a global conflict. It's a responsibility he's reluctant to accept because it takes him away from his family and friends and everything he knows.
It's already
that's dumb.
Stupid. It's literally stupid, guys. I understand, like, on this show, you just try to be like, ugh. It's just it pisses me off. Because the thing is, this is not Aang. You know what I'm saying? What makes him who he is because of the way he was kind of, like, raised, you know what I'm saying? Under the air temple, in the air temple. That's what makes him, like, that just gives him a very strong, like, character. Like that, it built his character. Basically, everything that he believes
is from the monks.
Right. So I'm like, what happens to Monkey Otso, which was one of the main characters that had an influence on Aang and everything like that. It's just like it just ruins everything. What is
an incredible mystical power?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is that?
I mean, that's the thing, though, is that what's stupid is the disconnect, because even in Avatar, it wasn't considered a mystical power because everybody had bending. There were certain people who could bend certain. Obviously, the majority of people were benders for what we know.
Yeah.
And what the only thing that set the Avatar apart is obviously his connection with his past lives or her past lives and the ability to bend all the elements. That's not a mystical power.
Right.
There's nothing mystical about it. It's pretty straight up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly this global conflict is. Is it like a spiritual, like that, like the spirit world? And
so you're moving Ozai.
Basically, and I'm like that basically that changes.
And the global he's supposed to be born into a global conflict.
Right. So I don't really understand where they're going into.
Well, not necessarily born into a global conflict, but when he comes out of the iceberg, he comes out of the iceberg in a global conflict. Right.
So I'm like, what is this? And then like it seems like he's gonna be a crybaby for one. Like why? Like talking about he's like having to be away from his family and his friends and things like that. Like what? To solve a global conflict? First of all, why do you need to be the one to do that? I don't get it. Like, I mean, I don't know. Guys.
There's no, cause there. What's the reason? Like, I see what you're saying. It's like, okay, why does it need to be this person?
Right.
I mean,
especially if this new force or whatever, like the elements. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean?
This would make more sense. This would make more sense if you were talking about like Avatar 1, where he's the first one.
Right.
But this Avatar Aang, his story, his character is already set. And this sounds like a classic Netflix storyline.
Right. I'm like, what is it? Like, he's not even does the Avatar even still exist? Because it seems like he's supposed to be like the first of this type of thing.
Yeah, it seems like
if he doesn't know what it is.
That's the thing, that is if there's other benders, it's not mystical. There's nothing mystical about it. Oh, he can bend all the elements and he connect to his past lives. That was common knowledge.
Right.
So my question is, did Avatar Roku exist? Did Kyoshi? Did Korra?
That's a good question.
Did Avatar Yang Chen? What happened to the rest of it? What happened to all of his predecessors?
Yeah.
Like,
and as we go over some more of the description, you'll see I'm trying to figure out if this new element thing is kind of like this new force. I guess I don't know what the heck it is. Mystical force is new or something, because they don't seem to know what it is. So I'm just like, this isn't Avatar at all. Don't call it Avatar. This is something completely different. And also what I was saying about the whole parents thing, it changes everything pertaining to Aang.
And I'm not saying that it's not going to be a good show though. Because the thing is that it may be good, but don't call it Avatar. It's not Avatar.
Nothing like that, right?
Like that. Why did you call it Avatar: The Last Airbender when it's not airbending?
Yeah.
It's just a mystical force. What the hell is a mystical force?
And it's a different kind of mystical forces. I don't know.
It's a mystical. He was gifted. Aang had been also gifted with an incredible mystical power. So he was born with this, or
did he somehow get it somehow?
And adopt it from who?
Exactly. So I guess that might be like a mystery that they unravel later. I don't know what the case may be, but it just seems very confusing. It's not Avatar at all. I prefer if they didn't call it Avatar, because it's really not.
I mean,
yeah, even with the parents, I'm just like, one of the things that made him who he is because he can't relate to people who do have that. He's not used to that kind of family dynamic, right? And so it made him unique,
and that's part of
everybody else.
And that's part of his connection with the rest of them too, because Katara lost her dad and her mom. Her dad went off to war.
Right.
So Sokka and Katara pretty much grew up without parents outside of Grand. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Toph, who grew up with parents that didn't understand her. So really, her connection with her parents was jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Zuko, obviously, we know his family situation. So you look at the trend throughout all of them, it's dysfunctional homes for the most part. And Aang didn't really have a home to start with.
Right.
So that's part of the character arc for these characters anyway. Right. So you're giving them a family. You're that's not even, now we're not even looking at the same character.
Right. It's not the same. They're not the same at all.
And you could argue that Monk Gyatso was a father figure to Aang, but when you actually look at their relationship, they were more like best friends, rather than you know.
Exactly. So I mean, like, it just changes everything. I don't understand why he would need parents or anything like that.
It's a classic Netflix type storyline. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty basic for the most part.
Yeah.
Orphan kid with a mystical power.
Right.
Right,
It's
you
kind of
know-
like that typical same storyline. You don't know who your real parents are, but you have these very loving. It's kind of like Hercules.
And make that and also to make clear, you know, Aang was not an orphan.
Right.
A lot of people get that mixed up. He was a monk. He was being raised to be a monk, but he was not an orphan. His I guess you could consider his community at the monks as sort of a family,
Right.
but that's not even how the monks really viewed it. I see why the original Avatar creators got out, because
This isn't anything. Now I think this is where we actually get to see what the original creators were talking about. I know they held out on saying anything about it, but now we're starting to see exactly why they walked away from it, and I completely understand why, because this is not Avatar at all. You can look back at their quotes and it just all adds up now. This is not in the spirit of Avatar. It's not. But we can move on to Sokka and Katara. This is going to be interesting.
Additionally, Katara and Sokka will lose their mother, but it will be due to a supernatural event, not due to the Fire Nation raid as depicted in the animated show.
Supernatural event. What? A supernatural event kills the mom. You see what I'm saying? It completely takes out the Fire Nation. And it's kind of like, what is it? Like, what is this supernatural
It seems like they're removing the very elements that are the staple of the show itself.
Exactly. It's not even... Exactly. See, they're taking out... I don't even know if the nation still exists at all. It just doesn't make any sense.
You know what I think they're gonna wind up doing? They're gonna make the battle between Aang, but they're gonna go strictly based off of the Avatar being the bridge between the spirit and the real world.
Yeah.
I promise you that's the direction that they're gonna go.
I think the force they're probably gonna say that
spiritual,
not spiritual, but you know, like the mystical type thing they're talking about is the spirit world.
Yeah, I think what they're gonna wind up doing is. And Mark and for those of you who are gonna see this show on Avatar on Netflix, mark my words, this is what they're gonna do. The mystical powers are controlling the elements, and that's what kills Katara's mom. And the battle throughout the show is gonna be Aang and between Aang and the spirit world itself, because he's able to be the bridge or connection between the two.
Yeah, now we're saying that it's not necessarily a bad.
That's not necessarily a bad
right.
thing, because we see that in Avatar 1's sort of, you know. But even then, bending was still existed. It was primitive. It was in its primitive state.
Right.
But bending still existed. So that's why this sort of, I don't really understand this. But I think that's the direction that they're going to wind up going with it. And I guess the storyline is good. But like I said, it's not Avatar The Last Airbender.
Right, it's not.
I mean, are you going to incorporate the elements and bending into it at some point, saying, well, okay, well, when Aang defeats the spirit world, or breaks the bridge, can he harness that power that they had to control the elements?
Exactly.
Now? And is he going to teach that to people? But like, even then, like I said, that's not Aang. It's not the story. So why are you calling it Avatar The Last Airbender when there are no airbenders? There is no Fire Nation.
Yeah, it's just...
How is he the last airbender when he's the first?
Right.
Zuko, who served as the animated series Deutero antagonist, has also been rewritten. His description revealed that he will be competing with Aang for a key role in the mysterious project, the details for which have not yet been revealed. What the hell?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like competing again. So he goes from...
Yo, hold up. Why did this just turn into Ender's Game just that quick?
Yeah. It completely changes Aang and Zuko's relationship, and it also, I feel like, changes...
What is
Zuko
a mysterious project?
Yeah, what is a...
You go from mystical powers, a supernatural event, killing Katara's mom, to a mysterious project.
Right.
And Aang has mysterious powers. What does Zuko have to do with anything?
Right.
If Aang is the one with this mysterious powers, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where's Iroh?
Exactly.
Where's Uncle Iroh?
That's why I said.
Where's Ozai?
I don't know. They're like
How does Toph fit into this?
Right.
Is Toph just gonna have the mysterious money?
She might just come out of nowhere and just be like, oh my gosh.
What the heck is this?
I don't know, guys.
She's gonna pop up with her mysterious money. And
yeah,
we need a rich person to help our group.
I don't even know if they'll make her like that. I feel like everything that we know about Avatar will be different in this series. I strongly believe that. Everything that we knew or we're used to, watching that, I feel like you just have to forget all of that and just watch it to try to enjoy it. Because if you're an Avatar fan and you're watching that, you're definitely gonna get pissed. And so when I watch it, I have to try to watch it objectively and try to, like, you know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. I am baffled.
I'm baffled too. I don't even know. And thinking back to how they said they're gonna put more adult content, they're gonna add more violence. I could definitely see how they could do that in this series. And I definitely see them making. You also think about the age changes as well. I definitely see Katara and Zuko being a thing in the series.
No, they switched it back.
They did?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did switch it back, but I'm just saying I still feel like they'll make Zuko and Katara a thing. I don't think they'll make Aang and Katara a thing. I think that they'll push that relationship. But, like, even still, I can see, like, of course, like, the violence, adult content, other kind of stuff. That's just Netflix, honestly. That's usually what they do with their shows anyways. So that right there doesn't surprise me. I'll try to be a little bit objective here and try to, like, you know, we already said that we feel like in the direction that we think it could be going in, it won't necessarily be bad. But I definitely think that I think also, like, with the, as far as like them changing the ethnicity as well, adding like, you know, Native American to the, like, water tribe, like, you know, them being Native American and then everybody else being like Asian and stuff like that. That right there, I guess that right there, I don't see a problem with that as much, because it's kind of like, well, at least they know how to cast now. So I see how they might be going about casting now, so because they know, like, before they weren't really saying anything, but now they probably have like a way of figuring out who they're gonna cast. But I feel like that's the only good thing, the only good difference I've seen that could be like, okay, I can be cool with that, because they know they put a name to it, it makes sense, it adds up. But you know what? The bright side is we have Avatar.
There is no bright side.
There's a bright side because we have Avatar Studios, and I actually listened to the podcast. I forgot what the name is, but the lady who did the voice of Korra has a podcast, and the guy who plays Zuko, he's also on there. They're the two hosts, and they talk to the original creators and everything, and they're basically talking about how there's so much that they're going to be coming out with. It's like they said it'll take years to review it all, because they have so much planned for the, you know, for other stories and stuff like that. And it's exciting. I'm excited to see what kind of stuff they come up with Avatar Studios. So that right there is the bright side. If we're stuck like before, only with having a Netflix series that looked nothing like what we're used to, then I would have been like depressed, and I'd be even madder than I would be right now. But like right now, I'm like, hey, we still got Avatar Studios at the end of the day. But anyways, I think that's the end of the video, guys. That's what that's our thoughts on it. What do you think? If you're like a hardcore Avatar fan, you definitely gotta say how you feel. Do you have any theories as to what direction they could be going in? Is there anything that we missed? Anything like that? Just comment down below. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. If you're not subscribed, you should definitely subscribe, like ASAP. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Post to the thumbnail.